Sometimes in life you need to take a loan from your cousin, aka are the Buffalo Sabres and the Vancouver Canucks about to make a trade. Maybe, probably not. And to be honest, we're probably just in need of therapy. Or wins, because winning fixes everything. But what's more likely? Expensive therapy or 2 points? Yeah. Let's do this. Locked On Canucks.
The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us the space to give you that West Coast bias, and one love to you and 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 you for sticking around and doing this with us, and that's getting through therapy, because that's what it feels like. It does. Okay, 3 games into the season, 1-2. We're not even 0-3, but here I am, and maybe I'm a byproduct of my environment. Maybe you're a byproduct of your environment. Maybe you need therapy because you listen to Locked On Canucks. But man, oh man, through 9 periods of hockey, the Canucks look like they have looked like for the past 10 plus years, right? AKA, they look kind of similar to the Buffalo Sabres. Now, it's kind of hard to be as bad as the Buffalo Sabres, but at the end of the day, when you suck, you suck. And this family sucks. These cousins suck. Until they don't, they suck. I'm sorry. Not to get negative, it is what it is. Now, that being said, Trevor, who's on the phone right now working his day job, he wanted to do this episode, okay? He wanted to talk about Alex Tuch being a target for the Vancouver Canucks. And that's interesting. That's fascinating. I'm sure he has a couple of proposals. I'm sure he has the who, what, where, when, and why for that. But you got to wait a bit until he comes online and gets off the phone. And until then, I'm sorry, let me ramble, because I want to talk about Tage Thompson. I want to know if there's a chance. Now, Tage Thompson's, still a relatively really good hockey player. He can beat the noise. Maybe not so much so that he helps the Sabres win games, because, hockey's a team sport and it's hard to win. But again, he can block out the noise. He could still perform, and he's still scoring goals for the most part over the last, let's use the Patterson scale, 120 games, okay? Still an effective player offensively. Now, Elias Pettersson over his last 120 games. Somebody do the math. Does he have 90 points? Does he have 80 points? Does he have 75 points? I don't know. And I know this may confuse you, but I wonder, because Kevin Adams is Kevin Adams, right? Is that the Sabres GM, a guy that's out for lunch? And I know, Jarmo Kekalainen is his senior advisor now, and that could, stop the buffoonery that Kevin Adams is spewing out day in and day out, it seems like. But all in all, it's still Jarmo Kekalainen. We're not talking about the best GM of all time. Is there a world? Yes. Is there a world where former should have been Pavel Datsyuk, a.k.a. Elias Pettersson, and change gets traded for Tage Thompson? Both teams need to change. Is this like Doncic, Anthony Davis, on a way lesser scale? Is this a change of scenery scale? Is this an out of nowhere? And does Kevin Adams take the bullet? Okay, and do the Canucks retain some money and somehow make this odd trade work? Because here's the truth, guys. Here's the truth. Okay, if both these teams don't win games in the month of October, things could happen. Big things could happen. And if Kevin Adams doesn't get fired, and he's still calling some shots out there in Buffalo, maybe you can pull a quick one. And again, if everything goes bad for both these teams and they continue to struggle, and Elias Pettersson continues to play like Pius Suter. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that? Is there something like that brewing? Like, I guess even on a lesser scale, because I feel like Tage Thompson is like a dream, right? And at that point, like, if the Canucks I don't want to go here, but Trevor, again, leaves me to do this damn episode. I don't want to talk about this, but here we go. I'm going negative. Right, I'm going negative. Because I'm the one, if the Canucks suck this month and they're going to be bad for the rest of the season, it's time to blow it up, right? And not make a trade involving Elias for another player that could help this team out now. I'm sorry. Let's just go the Montreal Canadian route and get a bunch of picks and start from the bottom. That being said, if we suck and we decide to rebuild, I wonder with the cap going up, does a dumb organization, or maybe a smart one, considering, there's still a good chance Elias bounces back because life is long, and he's only 26 years old or whatnot. Like, he's got time, a lot of time. All in all, though, does Buffalo take the bite or the bait? Would they be willing to help the Canucks get off this contract? Maybe. You never know, because Kevin Adams is their GM. Anyways, help me talk about the subject again. Trevor Beggs. I hope he hops on soon, because he had the idea here. And until then, we have to banter away and get to the bottom of this topic. All in all, though, comments. NGK saying Pettersson isn't going to Buffalo. That ship has sailed. Yeah, the no trade clause and whatnot, but I don't know. Like, again, this is worst case scenario. And you can blame Craig Button for this energy right now. Again, go look at his rant on Elias Pettersson on Donnie and Dally, the best podcast in Canada, saying, if Elias keeps this up, he's a buyout candidate. And now I'm feeling away. But all in all, if Elias is bad again in Vancouver in October, I don't think he would be opposed to a change of scenery, because then the evidence would be like truly in the pudding, right? That'd be like 22, 23 months of being shit in Vancouver, being miserable. Right? And I don't want to discredit Buffalo for not being a hockey craze market too. Like, it would be tough to be bad in Buffalo as well, because that's another organization. I mean, we've been in the league at the same, for the same amount of time as the Sabres, the Cousins, the Canucks, the Cousins. I'm not sure how many times Buffalo has been to the third round of the playoffs, but again, the Canucks have only done so 3 times. You could understand the angst in this organization, the frustration. AKA, that place is always going to be a hard place to play until they win games. So again, like, if Pettersson does choose to go to Buffalo, there would be like a warning sign given by his agent and his team around him, saying, like, I know it's not Vancouver, but it's still Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? All in all, though, you never know. There are so many similarities between Buffalo and Vancouver. And as much as we like to poo-poo on Buffalo, like, again, dark episode, not my fault. Blame Trevor Beggs, still on the damn phone, giving me this topic. I want to talk about Thatcher Demko being the future captain of the Vancouver, or like, the real captain of the Vancouver Canucks. Him co-sharing this with Quinn Hughes. But here I am talking about the Buffalo Sabres, man, oh man, comparing them to the Vancouver Canucks. We're all desperate. We all need therapy. And let's be honest, the Canucks are not far away, if not already like Buffalo. Like the Jets, like the Cleveland Browns. For real. Man, oh man. More comment. Dan Jardine saying, how about you trade Pettersson, Vander Kane, Tom Willander for Tage Thompson, Samuelson, and Alex Tuch? Again, I don't know. Like, but would I go a struggling Elias Pettersson and Tom Willander for Tage Thompson if the Canucks are still trying to win games? I would probably even retain some money on Pettersson to make that work, to be honest. That is just the truth. But again, this is somebody talking in past tense, assuming that Elias is still going to struggle vastly in the month of October, and Buffalo would be desperate for some sort of change and a good two-way player a good analytical darling. Maybe Kevin Adams would fall for the analytics, right? Oh, Elias Pettersson, the best analytical player in hockey. Who cares about the eye test? Maybe they would fall for it. Oh, no, Trevor's back, though. Trevor wanted to do this damn topic. Alex Tuch, Lucas Reichel, Tage, whoever. The Canucks are trading for players. So be it. And I went negative, and you can blame Trevor for leaving me stranded here.
Yeah, my bad, buddy. I appreciate you, Kyle. Almost as much as I appreciate the listeners here on Locked On Canucks. Now, look, I know it's only 3 games into the season, but Patrick Allvin likes to make his moves early, right? We've seen that time and time again throughout his tenure. Now in his 4th year as general manager of the Vancouver Canucks. And look, the Sabres angle to me is interesting because they have 2 goals in their first 3 games, all losses. And you've had players like Rasmus Dahlin and Tage Thompson, basically hint, according to guys like Elliot Friedman, that if things don't change this year, they're going to want out. And I know Dahlin signed a big deal. I know Tage Thompson's locked up long term, but the Buffalo Sabres, I think before when you were theorizing about Sabres trades, you're thinking like they need players now. They don't care about picks. They don't care about young players. But if they don't show signs of improving, it may be a full scorched earth rebuild again. Year 14, man, oh man, our poor cousins over there in Buffalo. Now, look, I have a hard time seeing the Canucks get Tage Thompson. I have a hard time seeing them get Tuch or Thompson, but especially Tage Thompson, just because the cost is going to be astronomical. But Alex Tuch to me is a bit more interesting. A, because he's got ties to BC, right? His wife is from my neck of the woods, man. She's from White Rock, BC, okay? Tuch's been, he's been photographed down on White Rock Beach, baby. Let's go. So you can see some fit with Tuch there. But again, the Canucks, are they going to pay assets to get a guy like Alex Tuch who's a winger? That to me is unlikely unless, again, the Sabres would accept futures more or less. And again, look at the package for Dandridge. PD Kane will land for Thompson, Samuelson, and Tuch. I just think there's no way that happening. But what would the cost to get Tuch be? It's probably a 1st-round pick plus another 1st-round pick worth of value, right? Like, could it be a first and Willander? Again, the Sabres would have to be really going to rebuild mode to entertain that, but that's got to have my eye on if I was the Vancouver Canucks. And again, I kind of want to dive into more centers, right? Because, how dumb is the decision looking to not get a center in the offseason, right? I mean, shout out to Braden Coots for making the team, but he was your 3rd-line center going into the season when you could have had Pius Suter. I mean, that decision just looks dumber by the day. But I think, again, another guy to have an out would be Lucas Reichel. I mean, a guy that's been out there for a while. He's not going to cost as much. The Chicago Blackhawks haven't been able to move him yet. He's a more realistic option for the Vancouver Canucks. But I'm just saying, man, don't be shocked if the Canucks looking to move early in the season because it fits Patrick Allvin's MO, and this offense hasn't done much that really inspires you so far.
Yeah. Again, this is so much foreshadowing. At the end of the day, let's just see more games. Let's see this new lineup. Let's see if, I don't know, something changes very soon for the Canucks. Right now seems a little bit doom and gloom. And I'm just of the what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just of the variety that is simply like this. If the Canucks suck in October and they decide to make moves, blow it up. Start from the bottom. And it is what it is. It is what it is. You're going to try to get Alex Tuch to fix the problems. I know this team does legitimately need a top 6 winger too, added to the mix. There's just too much pressure on Jake DeBrusk to be a driver, especially if Elias Pettersson's not going. All in all though, I don't know, just any big moves involving wingers that doesn't appeal to me. And that's why I want to talk about Tage Thompson. I mean, I know it's ridiculous and there's a 1% chance of it happening, but that's the angle I'm going at. If I'm making a big time trade, it's not Alex Tuch. It's can I convince them about Rasmus Dahlin or Tage Thompson? Again, absolutely impossible, but it's Kevin Adams there. You never know. You take advantage of a really bad general manager and you move on. But if it's not that and the Canucks are being desperate, I think they got to look at the other end of the spectrum. Trevor, I'm not going to front. This 5-game road trip, it's do or die. It's do or die.
Yeah, no, the Canucks got to come out with some positive results in this road trip. And I'm believing that they can do so. Let's get into that on the other side. Again, let us know in the comments. Is it time for the Canucks to make a big move this early in the season? Oh, my God. Are we already here? Of course, you're already here, man. It's fun to talk about potential trades. But in the here and now, let's talk about lineup decisions, some sensible ones, in my opinion, coming up for your Vancouver Canucks. That's coming up on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. All right, man. Before we get back to the program, man, shout out to who? Shout out to Kyle Bowen. Shout out to Hump Day, baby. My God, let's get it on, man. There we go. And also shout out to our friends over at Monarch Money, okay? Speaking of humping, more on that in a couple of seconds, but let me tell you about Monarch Money, okay? If you don't want to keep track of your financial accounts, your properties, your investments, you got to use Monarch Money, okay? Because it's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. And Monarch is built for people with busy lives, baby. If you've been putting off organizing your finances, get on Monarch, man, because you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money. And man, oh man, talk about that love making, talk about Hump Day. Oh my God, Monarch Money has made my love making life that much better. I last 43 seconds longer now because I got no stress, because I can link my accounts with my wife's, and boom, bam, we're now saving money, making money. Let's go. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks for you. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNHL.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. Speaking of you and you and you, let's read the comments. Rat saying that the Canucks are a losing team too. Yeah, like we're talking about the Sabres, we're talking about the Canucks. You might as well spend some time talking about that in general. Again, I know it's negative and stupid, but I don't know. Do you want to talk about Garland playing with Pettersson more? I feel like that's a reasonable topic, but at the same time, I think it's okay to understand what's on the line this year for the Vancouver Canucks. And yeah, it's like losing Quinn Hughes, but it's also being with the Detroits of the world, or the Buffaloes of the world, or the Cleveland Browns of the world, or the New York Jets of the world, if the Canucks don't find success this season. It's just the truth.
Yeah, that's what's staring us down, man. We're also 3 games in, so I'm personally going to say that for another show. Kyle, shut up with the negativity, man. We're 3 games in. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
Unbelievable. Is it because I left you for 10 minutes, man? Is that why you're all bummed out?
Yeah. You want to talk about Alex Tuch and Buffalo Sabres and all this, and I was like, okay, well, you're going to leave me in charge of this. And I'm like, okay, well, how you got to watch out what you do to me. You can't leave me alone there, because obviously that was going to happen. I'm a sports historian. And as much as I have the West Coast bias, I just understand what this is. And don't be fooled. We're a bad season away from, yeah. Anyways, Connor Garland, the top line player for the Vancouver Canucks, the most important Canucks forward. Can he wake up Elias Pettersson? Honestly, I think so. You want to talk about positivity? That wasn't me being, I don't know what the right word is, like delusional or smoking that Deepak Chopra. I literally think a combination of a play driver beside Pettersson with more minutes. Like I'm talking, make sure he gets 5 more minutes than Linus Karlsson tomorrow, right? You know what I'm saying? Like play those guys 20 minutes a game and there will be offense found.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I think this is a sensible lineup decision for the Vancouver Canucks, right? DeBrusk, Besser, Pettersson. I know, so some of the numbers, some of the fantasy stats said they were playing okay, but they were largely invisible over the Canucks' last 2 games, right? It just wasn't really working with those guys. And I said it coming into the season, man, I didn't love that mix of players. But Garland, Pettersson, man, oh man, I think there's something there. And Kyle, just look at the numbers between those two heading back to the beginning of last season, which of course, Pettersson has not been great for any of that. The numbers for them are pretty encouraging. They've been creating offense. They've been good defensively. The one reason why I don't think it's worked in quotations is because they just haven't scored together, right? Their shooting percentage at 5-on-5 is at 6%. Like that is unsustainably low, in my opinion.
What are you talking about? DeBrusk, Besser and Pettersson, or Pettersson and Garland?
Pettersson and Garland. So when they've been on the ice together since the beginning of last season, the Canucks are shooting 6%, which is, again, unsustainably low when you have guys of those caliber on the ice. Yes, even including Elias Pettersson. So I like that combination. Do I love Kane up there? I'm not sure where I like Kane in this lineup right now, man. Dude, show me more aside from the hits, man. Come on. But I think Pettersson and Garland together makes a lot of sense. I think DeBrusk, Keedle, and Besser, like, look, if you have a top line going, like DeBrusk, Keedle, and Besser, that can be a good second line. And then Foot also alluded to the fact that, Atu, Ratu, Kiefer, Sherwood, he likes them together. And he mentioned Drew O'Connor may play with them as well. So it's interesting because none of these lines practiced together yesterday. This is all Foot just talking after practice. In my head, it's like, okay, so if that's what you want to see, why didn't you practice that way in the first place? But of course, they'll.
And sorry, has practice already started today?
No, they're traveling today. This is all at practice yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we'll see what happens. I was a little confused by that too, but you never know. Like, I'm not gonna over hate on Adam Foote's coaching methods. Like, maybe he just gave it one more crack at practice and realized after, like, yeah, this is not gonna work. And he just, no, thanks for the transparency.
That's what it took. It wasn't the 3 games. It was that practice. He's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know. And you know what? Like, it would be more telling if he played tomorrow's game with like what the lineup that he's always used, even though he just talked shit about it yesterday. In essence, right? Like, he's got to make that change even without the practice. Because at the end of the day, like the stuff doesn't work. Like, you don't need the practice to make the change. That's what I'm trying to say. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, end of the day, you're gonna roll the same lineup, and 8 minutes later, you're gonna juggle all the lines. Now, you said Evander Kane has to do more than hit. I'm sorry. Like, I could see this guy just be a physical player, and I'd just be happy, to be honest. Like, I don't want to see this guy in the top 6. I'm sorry.
Kyle, if he's on your top line, goddammit, he's got to do more than that.
No, that's what I was about to say. Like, I'm actually scared that the Vancouver Canucks are going to let go of Lekkerimäki too early, or healthy scratch him too early for Linus Karlsson, And it's like, what the hell has Drew O'Connor done in the last couple of games? No, because I saw your tweet, right? And it makes a lot of sense. I like what you tweeted out. I like how, even though I do like Archie Baines with Kiefer Sherwood and Achu Ratu, I think in limited time, they're actually one of the best lines in hockey. That's me being a fancy stat I'm smoking the fancy stat. And even though I don't believe that statement, the fancy stats are telling me that. And I would be kind of disappointed if they left that early, because I do see some chemistry between Archie and Kiefer. All in all, though, you tweeted out that you could see, Max Sasson, Linus Karlsson, and Archie play a game on this trip. And I don't know, like, I'm cool with that, but does that mean Lekkerimäki becomes a healthy scratch? Like, I want to see this guy in the top 6. And what has Drew O'Connor done? Like, and also Evander Kane, like, how come he deserves to stay in the lineup more so than Lekkerimäki? I know Lekkerimäki's fancy stats suck, but, he's playing with the rookie 18-year-old center, and Drew O'Connor in his last game against the St. Louis Blues. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I want to see Garland, Lekkerimäki, and Elias Pettersson together.
Okay.
Or I want to see Lekkerimäki play with some skill. And Braden Coots is a skilled guy, don't get me wrong, but not an 18-year-old skilled guy. Like, I want to see him in the top 6. And Evander Kane, like, he must lead this team in turnovers in 3 games. So why is he still in the lineup or getting that premium shot? And Drew O'Connor, again, what has he done? What has he done? I know he's on the Sherwood goal in game 1, but, like, good skater, big and tall, boom, bam, I get it. But this team needs offense, yo. Like, this team needs offense. Then we're going to ice up bottom 6 with Linus Karlsson, Drew O'Connor. I don't know. Like, who else would we have there? Like, Archie, Max Sasson. I mean, I like their speed and whatnot, but just like a lot of repetitiveness, and the bottom parts. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I need to see like Linus and Drew O'Connor in the bottom 6 and sacrifice Jonathan Lekkerimäki when this team just lacks punch. It lacks offense. It lacks a good power play. That's just me. It's too early to scratch Lekkerimäki for me.
Okay, I'm going to hit the button because I'm down to go against you on this one, buddy. Kyle, I see where you're coming from. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Drew O'Connor, and much like Lekkerimäki, Drew O'Connor, the fancy stats have not been kind to him. But he does bring that side and speed element. He does kill penalties. For me, I'm fine to sit Jonathan Lekkerimäki for a game. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People aren't going to like that. People don't like when talented young rookies get sat for a game. I'm also down to see what it looks like with Lekkerimäki, Garland, and Pettersson as well. But I'm fine for him to get sat down for a game, especially if the idea is that Foot is going to roll with Kane, Garland, and Pettersson, DeBrusk, Besser, Hedel, O'Connor, Ratu, Sherwood. And then it leaves you with Baines, Hassan, Carlson, and Lekkerimäki. Like, do you really want a fourth line of Baines, Hassan, and Lekkerimäki?
No, you don't.
You don't, exactly. So I think for me, I'm not sure if it'll be the Dallas game or the Chicago game, but I think we're getting pretty close to seeing that Abbotsford line play together for at least a game to see how they do.
Okay. Well, then
And for me, I'm finest at Lekkerimäki for a night to get Carlson to the lineup. And Carlson talked today to Ben Kuzma about how much it sucks to be sitting out of the lineup. And, he had such a great year last year, arguably Abbotsford's MVP. And he's got nothing but press box duty so far. So I think he deserves to get into the lineup at some point too.
Okay, good. But the power play sucks. And Lekkerimäki, I know it was just the preseason, but he also has a goal this year too. I mean, he's had limited scoring opportunities, but like he's been playing with seriously hasn't gotten a lot of help. And I'm just, when I see him play outside of the St. Louis game, there's only been 3 games, but outside of the St. Louis game, I've seen a guy with some confidence, some jump. And I'm pretty confident that if you give him like playmakers and just more offensive punch, more security around him, like we could get more out of him. And a big emphasis on our power play sucks. Our power play sucks, man. It really does. And Lekkerimäki, before he gets scratched, I just want to see him with Pettersson and Hughes on top of the power play. Don't want to see Evander anymore. And again, emphasis on Evander. Like, I know in the garbage time against St. Louis, the fantasy stats told you that Garland, Pettersson, and him they had some good things going on. But before that, like, why is Evander? Why are we just okay? And why is nobody talking about Evander turning over the puck 2 or 3 times a game? Straight up.
It has been a great start for him. I completely agree.
He's made as many mistakes he's made more mistakes than Lekkerimäki.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of it is because, he's playing twice as much a game.
Like, isn't it so scary how it's 2025 and we're like, yeah, Evander Kane gets special treatment. He's been getting special treatment this whole season. Top 6, power play number 1. Like, I don't know. Just don't turn over the puck. And again, I want to see more Lekkerimäki. He was such a stud in the preseason. I know it's just the preseason, but his one-shot ability is just so critical. And why do I feel like I have more faith in him scoring off his shot than Besser, DeBrusk? Like, I don't know, something about the way he was twirling his stick and just laying it down. I just want to see more of that before we give him a scratch. And last time I checked, I thought we sucked at offense.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. I agree. And I think he's got the best shot on the team, but I'm just saying he's 21 years old. It's been a so-so start. I'm fine to sit him for a game, but that's about it, man. Aside from that, I think maybe guys like, it'll be the Abbotsford guys, but probably Drew O'Connor and Evander Kane should be on watch. Let us know in the comments. What do you think the Canucks should do? Who should sit? Should it continue to be Linus Karlsson, or should somebody else sit for the Canucks next game against the Dallas Stars? Don't forget Teddy Bluger, close to coming back to the lineup soon as well. On the other side, let's get to it. The first one of the year, our goats of the week from last week. That's coming up here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. You know it, man. NFL season's here, NHL season in full swing. Major League Baseball playoffs are also here, and FanDuel is letting you get in on the action with an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And man, oh man, I don't even want to look up the odds for the Canucks next game against the Dallas Stars, but I do know that the odds apparently were that the Seattle Mariners could sweep the Toronto Blue Jays. Man, come on, no more BJs, no more BJs in Canada. Is that true, Kyle? Nah, it's not true. But you go find your bet on FanDuel. Again, whatever sport it is. Again, new customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Go check it out on FanDuel.com and download the FanDuel app today to get started.
People, we back doing this, and that's try not to complain about the Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle. That's Trevor. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us the West Coast bias. One love to you and you and you and you. Speaking of which, let's get to some comments here again on Locked On Canucks. Dan Jardine saying Evander Kane is actually 10th in turnovers on the Canucks. Dan Jardine, are you Adam Foote on the low? Vano, man. And then we had Calvin spewing out a bunch of stats here, but he says our power play needs a blue pill. What does that mean? Like, is that like it needs Advil? Like it needs
You know, man. You know what it is, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, again, I know I know it was just preseason, and I keep complaining and bitching about Lekramaki getting a shot, but I'm like, why isn't he getting a shot up there? And, again, and we're playing the Dallas Stars, Jake Ottinger. Like, I don't know that strike that we've been looking for in offense, like to take him away out of this lineup before giving him the opportunity, just so we can get Linus Karlsson and Drew O'Connor into our bottom six rotation is like, I don't know about that, man.
I'm trying to check from the last game. I thought that they did get a shift together on the power play, but I could be wrong.
It was Hedel. It was Hedel who got that extra look. They only had one power play. It was Hedel that wasn't there instead of Evander, which is okay to me too. Like anything other than Evander, to be honest. Straight up. Anyways, hit the like button. Trevor has some more things to talk about. I think he actually wants to run the goats. How is Trevor going to find 5 goats of the week this week involving the Canucks? Well, he's a father. He's a happy man, and he's about to do it here on Locked On Canucks.
Kyle, no matter how good or how bad the week is, you know that you always got to find some goats here. The best 5 Canucks of last week. We ran this segment all throughout last year, and we're going to do it again here, baby. And I'm starting with number 5 this week, Aatu Räty, baby. I thought, again, really good start to this season for Aatu Räty in the midst of a lot of disappointment, to be quite honest with you. But, you know, again, a guy who I think did have a slow start at training camp, always looks like he's working his ass off, even though the speed wasn't really there. But he's looked really good with Kiefer Sherwood, and I think that's the reason why, you know, even though Adam Foote's planning on really shaking up all his lines, but the sounds of it, you're going to have Aatu Räty stick with Kiefer Sherwood. A big, I think another reason why they sent Coots back is Aatu Räty, to me, is looking like a third-line center. 1 assist last week, good possession metrics, good in the draw. He's number 5 for the GOATs of the week. Number 4, Connor Garland, man. Again, just always giving a shit out there, man. Always noticeable. I got only 1 assist on the week, but playing 18 minutes a night. A staple on a penalty kill that's been clicking at over 90% so far this season. Connor Garland, and again, now he's going to be tasked with saving Elias Pettersson once again. And he's the guy among the forwards I probably trust to do it the most. Number 3.
Well, can I actually talk about Connor Garland just a bit?
Yeah, go for it.
One love James Moore for the super sticker, $14. Again, me and Trevor have wives, happy lives, happy wives. Hit the like button, support the show. It takes us a long way. And Trevor, since you have kids, you can have the $14. You heard that here first. I keep talking about Drew O'Connor. I know it's annoying because, again, I actually like the player. But because Connor Garland's penalty killing more, because RC Baines is penalty killing more, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, doesn't that lessen the amount we desperately need Drew O'Connor as opposed to, like, experimenting with other things? Like, I would rather see Lekramaki get pushed up and see Karlsson in that AHL line play a game, because I do have faith in that threesome than all the above. Because, again, guys like Connor Garland, they're stepping up when it comes to the penalty killing.
Yeah, I agree, but I think he was playing with Drew O'Connor, to be honest, for a good chunk of that. I could be wrong. Look, I know Drew Connor's going to be the whipping boy because he's just not great with the puck on his stick, but the Canucks don't have guys really as big or as fast as him, and that's a good combination. It's not just some big slow guy out there. O'Connor is legitimately one of the fastest guys on the team, but I think his lineup position should be on watch. You know, one guy who I think coming into training camp was below the depth compared to Drew O'Connor was Archie Baines, but he's the number 3 go to the week, baby. Shout out to Surrey. Let's go. Kyle, let me show you something, and if you're on YouTube, you can see this right now, but according to our friends over at Hockey Stat Cards, Archie Baines been the best player on the Canucks right now in terms of average game score, which, again, it's great for Archie Baines, not so great for the Vancouver Canucks. And look, the minutes have been relatively limited. He's facing weaker competition. But the penalty killing shift, the 2 assists out there, he's had some bad moments too, like just, skating in the wrong spot, skating into guys, passing the puck back to nobody. It hasn't been perfect from RC Baines. But I think it's been a really impressive start to the season overall for him, just relative to expectations. This guy does legitimately look like an NHL player. And despite some of the rawness to his game, I think he's only going to get better. And Kyle, you can slap me if you don't think he's the third best Canuck of last week. But the Surrey bias is showing for me on this one.
He's got 2 points and, he's doing his thing and I'm impressed. He's been good. I mean, even though he hasn't been perfect or great, and I still feel like there's room for him to improve, like he's got 2 primary assists and simple ones at that because he's springing people on breakaways and whatnot, but like he's skilled enough to execute on those plays and not to throw him under the bus, but blame Craig Button. Like, is Elias Pettersson making those passes right now? For real? Or is he bobbling the puck? Straight up. So give kudos to Archie for executing.
100%. I think the last 2 goats of last week are pretty obvious to me. Number 2, I have Kiefer Sherwood, gets 3 goals. Really was the Canucks' best forward overall. And number 1 is easily Thatcher Demko. Man, oh man, Demko is back, baby. And for all the bad feelings that you have about the Vancouver Canucks, I'm telling you, Thatcher Demko has a chance to keep this team in every single game this season. And that's a luxury that a lot of NHL teams do not have.
For real, for real, for real. Let's end the show off on a couple of comments. One left the goats of the week. Man, oh man, James Moore saying, Venti's on me, gentlemen. I've already had a lot of coffee. It's keeping me up, man. It's keeping me up. I'm reading books, if I wasn't reading books right now, I'd be so stressed, okay? Man, oh man. And Duolingo saying, why do we always need to suffer as Canucks fans? 3 games into the season, I know I'm not helping the cause or helping the positivity, but specifically dancing around this question, I want to bring up the road trip again, and maybe we'll dive deeper into it tomorrow. But I think if the Canucks go 2-3 on this road trip, which then puts them at what? It would be like 3-4. Would it be 3-4? No, 3-5.
Yeah. If they go 2-3, they'd be. Yeah. Well, what's the math there? 3-5. Yeah.
3-5. Like that kind of sucks because then you kind of really need to win the next 2 games after that to get to 500 after 10 games. It's not sexy. But if they go 2-3 on the next 5 games, but they play 12 good periods, 11 good periods, I will take that. And I know a lot of people are poo-pooing on some Canucks fans like me for being so sad about a 1-2 start. It's like, oh, we played Edmonton and St. Louis. Those are playoff teams, good teams. Okay, but we played like shit. Like, you can lose games and not get embarrassed and not play bad and not look pathetic and not make things look so easy for the other team. So I just want to see that over the next 5 games. I just want it to be hard. I want our big, strong, legitimate defense to look good. Now Mancini's going to get a lot of time, assuming that P.O. Joseph will be the 7th E-man forward on IR for like the next 7 days. He's not going to be injured for a long time, but he's not. I don't know if he's going on this road trip or whatnot.
Yeah, he's going on the road trip. He'll miss at least the next 2 games.
So just like live up to your name, play strong defense, play hard. Don't make things easy. Like, it's hard to win in hockey. It's still early. I understand that. But man, oh man, don't look clueless out there. Because for the last 6 periods, it's been bad. It's been bad. Like really, really bad.
Yeah, I think to me the most disappointing one was the Blues game, right? The Oilers are a cup contender. You beat a bad Flames team. The Blues team is the one you're competing with, and you did not look good. But I think there's reasons to be optimistic about at least the beginning of this road trip. And we'll touch more on the road trip tomorrow. Get into other news and notes surrounding your Vancouver Canucks. For now, Kyle, the sun is shining. I'm gonna go scratch my sack in the sun. Celebrate Hump Day. I hope you do the same. Shout out to you and you for tuning in. If you like the show, go share it with a friend. Go follow and subscribe on YouTube on the podcast. You can help us out by following us there or leaving a 5-star review. Shout out to Kyle Bowen carrying the show while I jerk off in the bathroom for the first 10 minutes. So Kyle, thank you. And thanks to you for listening to Locked On Canucks.
Peace, peace, peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.